Hello people. This entire day have not spoken. I'm just so disappointed. I feel like I could have tears right now, but the way I cope is by laughing hysterically. But I'm really literally. This really is a super informal video that I don't even know if I'm gonna post, but this is me 3 hours after hearing the announcement that Cornell is going to bring back people for in-person in the fall, but not really. Like, I don't believe it. Like, if y'all read the 97-page report that Cornell published, that actually outlines what fall semester is going to look like. It is not going to be the same or normal by any means, so I have just completely taken that out of my head. But what really disappointed me today is that I, as an international student, was really hoping for the international study away option, where international students could study in their home country or at a international location that's more accessible to them and take Cornell classes remotely, at least at a campus. And I was really hoping that I would get to do that in either Korea, Singapore, Hong Kong, or at least stay in Asia. But I won't be able to do that because this option is actually only open to people who are citizens or permanent residents of that country, and I am not. So that is out of the option for me. And I'm just really disappointed, guys. Going back to the States is not really an option for me either because of the US climate right now. Trump recently has been restricting a lot of visas for foreigners. The whole COVID-19 pandemic has been just a disaster, or it's just been such a mess just seeing how that has been handled. The other thing is politics. The elections are coming up and I fear for my safety. Not to mention the semester of in-person is going to be really compressed. This year, only 3 months. It is so far and expensive to boot my butt all the way to Cornell. And for what? What if COVID-19 explodes again? What if there's another wave? I don't have the luxury of just driving 4 hours to New York City or, you know, somewhere else to get safety. I have to take 3 flights to get back to the Philippines, and it was a disaster. Like, in March, having to come back and just pack my life that has been the most stressful experience of my college. You know, it was not an exam, it was not anything like academic related. It was having to leave Cornell that just really stressed me out. I just fear that I'm gonna have a repeat of that. I fear that things are going to get violent with the upcoming elections, that there has been so much racism nowadays. I have 3 options. My first option is to go back to America and continue the semester as normal. Second is to stay here at home and continue just doing virtual learning and have an online semester. 3 is to take a gap year or a leave of absence. Now, the tricky thing is I don't know what's gonna happen with this third option. I think this is what I'm strongly considering because, guys, if I wanted to take online classes from my home, I would take them on Coursera or Udemy or somewhere that's much cheaper. You know, like, people tell me, you know, why wouldn't you just continue the semester online? And I'm like, the reason I am getting an education is not just for the degree. It's really not just for the name. And I'm so like frustrated by people who keep telling me that I should just continue just to get the degree. And you know what, like, I 100% understand that so many sacrifices have been made for me to get this amazing opportunity to have an education. I cannot deny that, and I can never ever express how transformative these 2 years at Cornell have been in my life. I want my education to be worthwhile. You know, I want to be making sure that all the sacrifices that were made for me, that the costs that I am paying for this tuition are worth it, and I'm able to experience it in its fullness. I think these days privilege has started to feel like guilt for me. I know it shouldn't be, and I know, if anything, the privilege I have should be used as a platform to help those who don't have the same platform. And that's what I've been trying to do with my channel, you know, with making all the IB resources and college advice and admissions tips and study tips and everything I can offer. I just really try to put it out there on this channel. Anyways, what I want to talk about is some other options I kind of came up with on a whim. I told you about the 3 immediate options I have for going back. The biggest thing with the third reason I said is that I don't even know if Cornell is going to let students take a leave of absence. I think a huge reason that Cornell even opened their classes up and claimed it was safe for people to return is because they need the money. As a university, they need the money to keep afloat. People say universities are like businesses, and I don't doubt that, because this time has proved that colleges cannot survive if students are not paying tuition, if they're not paying for housing, if they're not paying for meal plans. They need students to be back on campus. It's kind of sad because there are people who, number one, don't have that privilege to just go back to campus, and number two, it is a huge health risk for students, for faculty, for people who are already immunocompromised. Like, sure, Cornell is providing different options for them for online and, you know, whatever, but it just doesn't seem like a good situation. So if I do take a leave of absence, I do have to consider the possibility that Cornell is not going to take me back for the following semester. I've spoken to some friends at Harvard. She was telling me how if they chose to take a gap year or leave of absence, then they might not be able to return at all because the housing system is going to face an overload in the following years if people try to just all come in at the same time after COVID-19. The condition was like, if you're going to take a leave of absence, don't expect to be able to come to campus for another 2 or 3 years. I think this is actually a situation that a lot of colleges are probably going to face. Like, I know so many students right now are going to consider taking a gap year. They're going to consider taking a leave of absence, taking a break. And the sad thing is universities have not addressed this problem at all because, you know, they want students to obviously come back. I just wish more colleges could speak up about this, because from a student perspective, this is something we are actively just wondering and just questioning every day, but we just don't have that information. That said though, I have to be aware of the fact that many colleges are probably not going to just let students take a gap year or drop out in the middle of a year and be allowed to come back, because one thing someone told me is that in this situation at elite universities, it's the university that has leveraging power over us students. If we don't go back to school, that's not their problem really, because they can just accept more students. It's really us students who are at the loss if we pull out. One option that I actually thought of that I don't know if I'm going to pursue is if I do choose to take a leave of absence and they're not going to take me back, then maybe I will just drop out. Maybe I will just take my own leave of absence / gap year for 1 or 2 years until situations are better. And maybe at that point, I'm just going to transfer schools. It's not a bad idea, and I actually think this is going to be a very popular option that some students will consider if their colleges are not going to take them back. If I did, let's say, take 2 years off and transfer to another college after, then I would be 23 when I graduate, which is just the equivalent of someone who took a gap year for that year. And it really doesn't matter, and it's really not a big difference. And the other thing is, like, I also am just like questioning the narrative of a 4-year college experience that, number one, has to be 4 years. Like, who decided 4 years was the time it took for students to learn what they needed to? And number two, why does it always have to be between the ages of 18 to 22? Something I've been thinking a lot these days too is, what is the point of higher education? I see so many young kids who are doing such big things in life, who are empowered by the internet and knowledge that there is online, who are doing the same things that college graduates do. You know, I don't want to fall into like the model minority myth, because these are like realistically only very few people who can do that, and we just hear the success stories a lot. But from the conversations I've been having with a lot of people, it seems that the point of higher education, or at least education at an elite or top university, is so you can land a good job. That is a totally valid reason, because a lot of people come from first generation backgrounds. They are on a lot of financial aid, and they count on these colleges to put them in good jobs that can eventually, you know, pay back all their loans. At the same time though, I also hear the sentiment, get a university degree because it's prestigious, because it'll help you in the long run. And that is, you know, something I have to concede for how the world works. It just does. Whether I like it or not, elitism and prestige is something that runs many top companies and many powerful people in this world. I just really like to think that the point of an education, and higher education in particular with all its worth, is more than just the name. It's more than just the degree you get after. That it's really what people say when they meet. It's about the people you meet. It's about the experiences you have. It's the ways you grow as an individual that no other experience and environment can replicate. And I 100% believe in that vision, and that's why I don't think online learning would be the best to go. I'm just hungry for more in this world. And one reason I think I would be okay and honestly excited to take this potential like semester or year off is because I think COVID-19 and everything that's happened in this world recently has opened up so much opportunity to help and really make a difference, because as a college YouTuber, a lot of my viewers are students who are like me, who are younger than me, who are older than me. But you know, a lot of people are around my age and we're tackling the same questions, and I think especially with the younger students in high school, I've been getting a lot of messages from people who are struggling in the IB diploma program, which is what I did. And I feel like there is so much that I can do to help these people right now. If I chose to pursue my education right now, like I'm honestly not in a rush to complete my education, and so I think I would be able to spend this year or this coming year more fruitfully trying to help those who are really struggling and do something about it. It's actually why I made a website recently called ibelieve.org with my friend Imogen. It is to help IB students right now who have been affected by COVID-19 and help tutor them, mentor them, connect them to our network of graduates who volunteered to answer their questions and just give them some more peace during this time, because I just remember how stressful it was in high school to go through this program, and I can only imagine how much more stressful it is when you have to do it online or when your school is struggling to keep up with the resources. When Cornell closed campus and we were all forced to go back, I was actually just very grateful that I could still continue learning online. At the end of the day, this is still a first world country problem. And it's something I realized coming back home to a third world developing country. As you can tell, I'm a little stressed and just like sad right now, which is, it's kind of like the same feeling I had in March when this whole COVID-19 thing was happening and I had to, you know, leave Cornell. And I also took to my camera to just rant and just talk. But so many things to think about. I think the main thing is recognizing that this time is not about me. Everyone is struggling, everyone has problems. They are all valid, by the way. Like, the emotions you feel and how upset or frustrated or anxious you are, 100% you deserve to feel them, and please feel them and talk to your friends. I'm not happy, I'm disappointed. I think you can tell from this video, but at the end of the day, like, there are people who are struggling more, and if it means taking a year off from my education to try to help those, you know, who need it, who are struggling more than I am, I think I'm really, really open to doing that. I've been listening to a lot of sermons these days, guys. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, in particular Rick Warren's Daily Hope, and one thing that he was talking about is this time is, it's not about you, it's not your time to be selfish. It's time that you help and serve those who really need this help right now. And I know for my life it will mean a lot of change. I really, really think that now is a great time to be helping and doing something good for your community, or at least those you care about. I feel like I'm on the verge of tears, guys. But yeah, I don't even know I'm crying. Why am I even crying in this video? Oh my gosh. Maybe it's the fact that I have not spoken to anyone today, or I think I'm probably a little overwhelmed. This reminds me of literally my COVID vlog when I also just started crying off camera. Something that has just been my heart recently is just how much pain and brokenness that this world has. It kind of goes back to what I was saying about guilt earlier, but it's just like I am able to just drown my worries away by watching Netflix or staying at home. Like, it's probably my 130th day that I haven't left home yet, by the way, since I came back from Cornell. It's not a problem at all. I'm really sorry to those who don't do well, you know, being isolated, being quarantined, who feel so much anxiety nowadays. Like, I'm so sorry you feel that way. I did too at the start. I think, you know, we all have that phase when we were adjusting to this period where we were just going crazy because we didn't know anything else. But at the end of the day, I think I just stopped feeling bad for myself, because there are other people in my country who are, like, people in my country who are really dying. There's so many people who are dying because of this pandemic. And I think it is a lie if I tell myself that I am powerless in this time, because it's not true. It's not true. And for me, filming this video right now is a way for me to cope and make sense of everything that's happening. And the crazy thing is there are people like you who are watching right now who will comment on this video after and say that this video really helped them and it encouraged them. And for me, it's just, okay, this is something I didn't think I was gonna open up in this video. I didn't even think I was gonna cry in this video. I didn't think this was gonna even go to this point, but since we're already here, we're just gonna keep going. I've been able to cope so okay and like have peace is because I've finally taken this time to learn more about God, to read the Bible, to listen to podcasts, to like grow my relationship with God and see what that's like in a time when I have no distractions. I just wondered like what would it be like if I just, you know, really gave my life to God, put my life purpose in him. 2 years ago, before I came to college, I always thought that I would always be striving for internships. I would be striving to get a job at a top tech company, that I would try to pave a life for me in the United States because it was the American dream, because I could make a ton of money, I could be at the forefront of technology, I could forget about the injustices of the world, and I don't think that's my dream at all. This world where it's so easy to be overwhelmed, it's so easy to, I don't know, lose yourself. It's really just, I don't know right now. And thank you for listening to me talk through all these emotions. I would really appreciate if you commented how you are feeling right now, if any of these things resonated with you. I really hope that this encourages you to also just be honest and real about things you're feeling right now. I'm just so lost right now, and I think a lot of people are lost too. I guess if you want to see how this all plays out, you can subscribe and turn my notification bells on, because as you pointed out, my schedule these days has been really erratic. I've been posting on Wednesdays when I normally post on Saturdays. I don't know, it's just everything. It mirrors how much of a mess my brain space is right now. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. If you are someone who has graduated college, if you're older, if you're a parent or you're a teacher, I honestly would just appreciate any words of wisdom or advice that you have for this struggling student who is facing an existential crisis, but also for all the other students who are going through this right now and watch my channel. Please comment down below. I really hope that you and your families are safe first and foremost. I will be praying for all of you, and I just wish you guys the best. Talk to you soon. Bye.